Let's face it, business technology is frustrating and complex. So how do you make sure it works for your team? To make IT right, start the discussion at go-domain.com. You're listening to Discussions by Domain, a podcast for business leaders. Our discussions may be with people you've probably heard of before, but the majority of our guests are in the trenches, professionals like you and I, with the same challenges and struggles of keeping up in the Northeast. They're implementing strategies, overcoming hurdles. They're leading the fastest growing businesses in our region. My name is Anthony DeGraw, Director of Partnerships at Domain Computer Services, and the host of this show. When I'm not talking with business leaders, you'll hear stories from behind the scenes of Domain and the ups and downs of our own growth journey, as we intend to take over the world. Just kidding. Well, maybe. Let's get into the show. So welcome to another episode of Discussions by Domain. Today we're going to actually do something pretty interesting. I have my main man, Kevin Vitale, here with me. He was originally part of Domain's account management team and has recently made the transition over to the sales and marketing side of the house. So he brings a lot of knowledge with him in the customer experience and handling customer issues, which has been completely valuable to me and the team in learning about what are we dealing with actually on the engineering side of the house and customer problems. But the cool thing about this is we are going to do a 3-part series over the next couple of weeks where we're going to hit, one topic is going to be sales and marketing. Another one's going to be industry roadblocks and how your company kind of deals with those, your customers, and we're going to focus ours around cybersecurity a little bit. But I think it'll be an important topic for a lot of different organizations on the roadblocks that they potentially hit with their customers. And then the final piece we're going to do, which is Kevin's favorite topic, is going to be on company culture. And how do you maintain that? How do you evolve the company culture? And how do you keep people happy, really? So I'm excited to do this. This was all Kevin's idea. So we're actually going to flip the script, and Kevin's going to be interviewing me over the next 3 weeks on these different topics. So Kevin, welcome to the show. It's
Thank you.
Not your first time here.
Well, let me just say this. So congratulations on the NJ Biz 40 under 40.
Thank you very much.
Well deserved. Well
Appreciate
deserved.
it.
You know that.
Yeah.
So no, I'm happy to do this because I've had a ton of questions for you, as you know, going with this process. So it's good to just sit down and kind of hear what you have to say on them.
Cool.
So we'll start with the sales and marketing. So obviously you've been able to kind of reframe the whole sales and marketing approach for Domain. So I wanted to know just kind of how the conversations have flipped to a more problem-solving consultation role, because when I got into sales, I always worried that I was going to be the cheesy sales guy with the 30-second pitch, and that's something I did not want to be. And you kind of showed me how not to be that.
Yeah, so I would say the journey, it's a great question. I would say the journey for Domain sales and marketing, so I've been here about 1.5 years now, and I came in and wanted to fully understand the business, right? I didn't know at the time what a managed service provider was. I had a general idea of it.
Right.
I had been involved in the cybersecurity conversation from a strategic standpoint from the insurance side of the business, which I always say is very reactive, meaning that I have an issue and I have to call my insurance company, and how is that policy going to respond? Switching over to the technology side of the house, I had to kind of come in and learn how the business was done, operated, and what pieces were involved in that sales process. So obviously Domain had a sales process when I came here that we kind of followed, and it's very still similar to the process we follow today. We've just made some changes on that. But to your specific question on not being the cheesy sales guy and actually being a more solution type of seller, the framework that I've used is called what I would call gap selling, where I'm truly trying to understand. Obviously, when somebody reaches out to us or we reach out to them and they want to engage in the next step of that conversation, I truly want to understand, like, where are you at today? Like, tell me about your current situation.
Right.
And this can apply to so many different industries. It's not just technology. But tell me about your current situation. What's going on?
Right.
And I like to let them tell me that. You know, I want to understand it. I truly do, because at the end of the day, that's going to shape the solutions that we actually recommend, right? And it truly is. There is no one size fits all.
Exactly.
A lot of the stuff is standardized, but some things do change, whether you're a remote workforce or whether you're in, one location, or maybe you have 8 locations.
Right.
And what is your business model? Like, it could be that, we all work 8:30 to 5. That's that's our model. Or it could be like, no, for instance, one of our newest customers, they do school law. So they're working with boards of educations and going to meetings from, anywhere from 7 to 11 p.m. at night.
Right.
The solution for them is just completely different. So I guess where we usually start is that current situation. Tell me what's going on. And usually they're going to tell you all of the problems, everything that's going on. The where I like to go next after that is, tell me what you've tried. Right? Because if I'm going to come in and recommend something you've already tried and you didn't like, that's going to be a big problem, right? We're not going to mesh very well. So I always want to understand, what have people tried? What have they experimented with? What maybe do they think they like? I want to understand that as well. And then the final piece is, where are you trying to go? Like, I understand your current situation is here, and that's where we're at today. And obviously we're here to help solve some of those immediate issues. But, it could be 6 months down the line. It could be a year down the line or farther. Where are you trying to go? What does the business look like? Because that also plays into the solutions that you're going to recommend, right? If you're going to tell me that we're just trying to stay right here and be this business and maybe add a couple of new people, but basically maintain what we're doing, that's one thing. But if all of a sudden we're like, no, we have national expansion and we're going to we're already in the process of opening a location, in Philadelphia or New York or whatever, that needs to be taken account into today's solution recommendations. The thing that I would hate, and I think everybody would hate, was if we were to come in and recommend solution for exactly today, but weren't to account for what would be needed in the immediate future.
100%.
It's
that clear plan. You kind of lay out a nice clear plan of where you are, where you want to be, and I've seen that super effective, because it's not something that the industry is doing. That's from my point of view, just sitting next to you. Do you think any experience you had in a previous role kind of helped you here? Do you think anything in particular?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I've done a lot of personal development myself. I'm always trying to learn. So investing in some sales learning and understanding of what sales look like in the 1980s and 90s versus what it should look like today. We're going through this full transformation of, before you had in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, you had to come in and tell people why you were different. But nowadays, we don't have to come in and tell people why we're different before they've even reached out to us. They've been all over our website. They've seen a podcast. They've seen some NJBIA event we've been at. And we've already kind of proven our authority in the marketplace. So we don't need to come in and just have the 30-second pitch or explain why we're the best in the world. Like, they know. They wouldn't have reached out to us if they didn't think that was the case. And then the kind of more of the gap thing too, I think a little bit stems from my insurance experience and risk management and understanding. This is the same concepts, like understanding where the business is today with their, sidewalks and, signs and all different kinds of things. And hey, it really needs to get to here for you to be compliant with some of this stuff or to better improve the risk on your business. So a little bit from there, but also the changes in how technology and information is being pushed everywhere. You can find everything you want out about domain, myself, yourself, in the matter of
That's
minutes.
actually what's really interesting. You find that people come to us with kind of an education on us already. It's not like you make that 30-second pitch like you said, because you come to us, you know who we are, you know where we are, and we just have to go there and kind of guide the process.
And you're nailing it, right? Like, we don't even, and you've been on some meetings with me now, we don't even talk about ourselves until the very end. It's I want to say 2 to 3 minutes of here's how our company's involved in the local community and associations and the leadership roles we try and take, which I'm sure you saw on our website.
Right.
And then here's a little bit more about our company, where we're located and who we are as people. And that is the last 5 to 10 minutes of a meeting.
Right.
All of the time is spent on the customer and where are they at and where are they trying to go.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And if you had to give just the everyday business a small tip in terms of sales and marketing to market, just to narrow it down to one thing, what would that be?
Yeah, I would say what we've worked on here at Domain, or the first thing that we worked on here at Domain, was where are you going to get the biggest ROI on whether it's time or money spent, where are you going to get the biggest ROI? And my answer to that question is you're going to get the biggest ROI on the people that already have reached out to you. Right. So meaning that people are already knocking on the door, whether it's a phone call, an email, a form, a chat, whatever it is. I want to be able to impact those people because they're already raising their hands and saying, hey, I'm interested in your service. So the goal of that is to be able to help those people.
Right.
So what I would say is I would focus on what we would call the bottom of the funnel, or mid to bottom of the funnel or the flywheel, and really focus on how can you make the buying process easier? How do you get ahead of things for them to make that whole process easier and enjoyable?
Right.
This should not be a painful process.
Yeah.
They should get a lot of value out of the process. I would be looking to give them some sort of value in return for the time that you're asking. And then, like you said, guide them to where they need to go. I think a lot of people nowadays are so overwhelmed with the amount of information out there. They need help in you telling them, here's step 1, 2, and 3, and this is how we should be planning this, at least in this type of consulting type of role that we've now taken on.
Yeah.
So I would focus at the bottom and make the buying process easier for the customer.
Yeah, no, that makes total sense, and I think they definitely can see that, as somebody that you're just meeting for the first time. But so I know you and Adele, our marketing director here, have really mastered the way of sending one clear message to businesses. Making your message kind of meet your process, where the rubber meets the road kind of deal. And what are your thoughts around that? Why is it so important for businesses to have a very clear message right from the beginning?
Yeah, that's a great point, and something, one of my pet peeves is, and it's hard to do, I completely understand it from a business owner standpoint, but you have to transition your messaging from me to you. Right? And what I mean by that is you'll hear people say, they're the best because of their people, or they're the best because they've been in business for 30 years. At the end of the day, all of your other providers are saying the exact same thing. And also, that's just talking about you. That's talking about, that's very self-centered. And people nowadays are very skeptical. Right? In the world of reviews being everywhere, and you literally will buy a $10 bar of soap based on the number of Amazon reviews it has. People want that social proof, and that's where they're going to look for validation. They don't necessarily want to hear it out of your mouth. So the way to change the messaging is start to talk about the customer. What are the problems they're typically facing? How do you help ease those? How do you give them strategy? And we talk a lot about budgeting and planning, but how do you take this confusing issue, topic, piece of their business and guide them the right way? And they want to know you can do that and hear that out of your mouth versus that I've been in business or my team is great. My people are the best.
Right. And how are you narrowing down that buying persona? What are you looking for if you don't have clients, if you're a new company? What do you have to look for?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I would go through. My common theme is ask the market. We can think all day, you and I, what somebody wants, how somebody would perceive a certain message or wording. My thing is go test.
Right.
To me, everything is almost its own hypothesis, and you got to be willing to fail. Not every science experiment works out in the end result that you're looking for. So my thing would be go and test and see what's actually resonating with people. If you have customers, one of the best ways to do it is go ask them.
Right.
If you don't have customers, you need to go out, friends, family, colleagues of your past life, whatever it may be, but you need to go see what resonates for them.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, thanks, Kevin, for asking me all of those questions. Those are really good questions. I hope that it'll help some people in their sales and marketing journey. They're more than welcome to reach out to the two of us, obviously, or the team here and kind of get some insights. And I always say that if you were interested in questions or whatnot, I'm sure there's somebody else out there. So I'm looking forward to part 2 of this 3-part series. And thanks again.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm going to continue to learn. I appreciate all the information as always. So thank you.
To ensure that you never miss an episode, subscribe to the show in iTunes or your favorite podcast player. This guarantees that every episode will get delivered directly to your device. To help us get the word out, share with a friend, leave a review, and check out our discussions on the web at go-domain.com/podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.